Dharma Master Cheng Yen encouraged disciples to remember the 9/21 earthquake 20 years ago and expand the power of great love. Tzu Chi volunteers send love and aid supplies to affected residents after torrential rain in southern China. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Maggie Tsai. Thank you for joining us. Recently, TIMA members of Central Districts conducted a free clinic in the church, treating patients despite religious difference. Dharma Master Cheng Yen encouraged everyone to extend the value of their life by doing good deeds. The Master also hopes to gather all the effort of the 9/21 earthquake relief to document the good and honest work that people did.
我们来看一下我们大爱村带回来20年前的这个电视。
After 9/21 earthquake, Gao Zhongyang moved into DaAi prefabricated housing. He treasured the furniture Tzu Chi gave him greatly and has kept using it for the last 20 years.
This sink we brought from DaAi village. Singing every day reminds us of when we lived at the DaAi village and the love and care of Tzu Chi and Dharma Master Cheng Yen.
DaAi TV is producing the 9/21 earthquake 20th anniversary series, and the reporters share his feelings.
Many of the people we interview express gratitude to Tzu Chi for giving them a place to stay, to live, and to feel safe during their most hopeless moment.
师兄师姐，因为过去的，甲恁歹的，可以呢把它连贯起来，建tạo起来。爱的能量就是要贯穿起来。
TIMA Central District cares for remote villages regularly, and recently they went to the church for the first time to conduct free clinic for a Christian organization called Kids Alive in Nantou.
Thank you all. The great love really transcends religion and ethnicities. This great love has allowed me to cross all obstacles, and the connection of humans are stronger than ever.
One of the TIMA doctor, Li Jiafu, has just lost his wife, who was also a TIMA doctor when she was alive. She has dedicated her life to care for the underprivileged.
Although her life was short, the love and kindness she created in her lifetime has impacted me profoundly.
Dharma Master Cheng Yen gave thanks to TIMA's dedication, and she encouraged everyone to seize the chance to do good deeds and practice filial piety.
把这个身体的价值要发挥出来，他给我们的身体，这个身体就等于父母遗留给我们的，所以我们要善自利用它，这就是报父母恩。
We can't decide how long we will live, but by doing good deeds with a joyful attitude, we can expand the horizon of our life and make it more meaningful. In Tzu Chi's Cebu Liaison office in the Philippines, a social worker, Joyce, has came to Taiwan for the first time to join the 4-in-1 Tzu Chi event. She has been touched by Tzu Chi's compassionate acts when she was in college and decided to work in Tzu Chi after she graduated. Let's meet her.
I always choose Tzu Chi because I think, can I pause for a moment?
As soon as Joyce begins to talk, she bursts into tears. She thought of how her father went to Manila to work but disappeared, and she had to take care of her 2 brothers with her mother. Even though her salary is only half of what she could make, she insisted on staying because she recognized Tzu Chi's value.
I have learned a lot of things. To be grateful of everything that I have. Yes, I still need to support my family because they understand what I'm doing.
Joyce has been working as a social worker in Cebu Liaison office in the Philippines for going on the 3rd year. She's guiding over 20 students, and her single-family background has made her more compassionate.
We try to talk to them and regular visits to them. We also visited their houses. Every child has big dreams, and they just need someone to believe and support in them.
Joyce's story has moved many Tzu Chi volunteers.
She's so brave, especially knowing that her father disappeared when she was 10 years old. She has vowed to help others since she was 10. She's indeed the master's disciple.
I need to learn from you.
Joyce also volunteers after she gets off work. From Tzu Chi, she learned the importance of giving love and care and not just material support, as this is how great love is spreading to the world. As the third session of the 4-in-1 camp for team leaders is held at the Taichung Jingsi Hall, the home volunteers mobilized en masse to take care of everyone. Not only have the TIMA members sent large amounts of their volunteers, but the public relations group have also prepared the interview room well, so they may also learn alongside the overseas Dharma families.
Forgetting her diabetes medication and broken her legs days ago, this Malaysian overseas volunteer is at the infirmary seeking some assistance. Due to her mother passing away about a month ago and inconvenienced by a wheelchair herself, Zawiya Manap originally canceled her plans to visit Taiwan.
Tzu Chi brothers and sisters say you must come, we'll help you, and the wheelchair is not a problem. This is how I'm able to visit again.
In order to take care of the overseas Dharma family, TIMA members have showed up en masse.
For this session, we have arranged 4 time slots: morning, afternoon, and evening, and also one for bedtime check. 4 teams are here on standby. If they are having a bit higher blood pressure, we have the medicine we can give them.
Besides attending the enlightening courses, overseas volunteers also take the time to share what they learn. Meanwhile, the home volunteers were tasked with decorations and receiving people.
While we receive them, we're also learning from them and seeing how they have walked Tzu Chi path.
The home volunteers put a lot of efforts into making sure the food is delicious and healthy.
The desserts this time is more towards fruit salad type items. Cakes and such were not selected for this session as much.
When the participants walk in, they will smell the coffee aroma. It not only can help lift their spirits, but also give it a feeling of home.
Taking care of the Dharma family so nicely, everyone hopes to learn from one another on this Tzu Chi journey.
In Xiamen, Fujian, a Tzu Chi care recipient became a recluse at the age of 28 after experiencing some brutal verbal attacks. He locked himself in the dark afterwards. After 20 years, his 80-some-year-old mother was worried. With the support of volunteers, he began to do recycling and is slowly learning to interact with others.
Going out of the house and encountering strangers is a big step for 48-year-old Bai Tengpeng. 20 years ago, he became overstimulated by the hate speech of others and was diagnosed with mental disorder. Tzu Chi volunteers later invited him to visit the recycling station, which was a big test for him. The first time they made an appointment, no one was at home. The second time, only his mother was at home.
I also want him to go with you. This will help his brain start to recover.
The group of Tzu Chi volunteers unexpectedly encountered him on the street. He once again refuses their invitation with just a few words. However, these volunteers don't give up, and with help from his elder brother, they make their third visit to the family home. This time, Bai Tengpeng and his brother begins to do recycling. Talking as they work, as he even lets out a little smile.
I realize I am not doing enough. I did some exercise, but did not even sweat. This is really important. All of this stuff is a little handiwork. And if everyone does it, our environment will be much cleaner.
The next time volunteers visit, Bai Tengpeng greets them at his door. This step forward has been 7 months in the making, and now with the help from volunteers, he is no longer walling himself off from other people.
最近我有发现他以前电视不能看新闻什么有进步。
我们成人最近还有没有就是说会有暴力的倾向？
没有
了。感恩妈妈给我们这机会，能来陪伴那个
很好，大家都很好。
Feeling the joy of Mrs. Bai, volunteers are happy for the family. Treating each other with sincerity can help change a person's destiny.
In southern China, in the early June, torrential rains caused flooding in the Shanping town of Lianping County. It took Tzu Chi volunteers nearly 10 days to reach the area as all of the roads were cut off. After finally arriving, volunteers gave aid and comfort to the affected residents who are beginning to rebuild their lives.
The flooding occurred 10 days ago, but the roads outside the city were impassable until now, as about a dozen Tzu Chi volunteers from Guangdong quickly rushed to the scene. A disaster investigation team went to Lianping County, Shanping town.
The floods came quite fast, and in less than 30 minutes, I couldn't see anything anymore. Really, if it happened at night, it would be over.
Volunteers entered Dongyang village and saw traces of flooding on the outer walls of many buildings. For example, the flood turned this building into ruins. About 20 houses were underwater.
My mother lived in these two houses. They were 100 years old. This is another century home. All these century homes are gone.
Most of the villagers depend on agriculture, and with harvest season soon approaching, the flood took everyone's hard work and efforts away.
不会，我们在盖，人在平安有人在，我们就能够做很多事，一切都会重来会很好安心
The affected and now homeless residents are currently living in resettlement sites. Volunteers listen to their horror stories of the flood and continue to give comfort.
These difficulties are actually temporary. You will definitely pass through this period. Please take good care of your children, and you have to take good care of your body. If you are in good health, you can better take care of your child and support the whole family.
This flood affected almost all of Shanping town, including the deputy director of the local civil affairs bureau.
She told us that she had not been back home for 10 days because her house was underwater. She had no chance to go home and see it, as her in-laws were looking after it. And her husband is a doctor, so he is involved in relief work. So this couple have not returned home after the disaster. When I heard this, I thought that we really should have come here earlier to comfort these affected residents.
After the volunteers offered condolences, they will first give gifts related to daily necessities. At the same time, they'll recommend sending blankets and multi-purpose folding beds to the affected households in this area.
In 1974, Dharma Master Cheng Yen first mentioned the 7th lunar month as the month of auspiciousness in the teachings. This was at the time in the Chinese community a very forward-thinking concept, as the idea of Ghost Month was very deeply rooted in the culture. However, she persisted in this line of teachings and influenced many to change their minds that this month is about filial piety, blessing, and prosperity.
"45 years ago, Dharma Master Cheng Yen first spoke of the 7th lunar month as a month of auspiciousness.
所以我们现在呢，应该就是要有智慧的信仰，不要再迷信了什么样最好的拜拜呢？其实时时刻刻心就要很诚意，心诚，对人对事对一切都要用虔诚的心来面对。
From businesses to local residents, the Pudu Festival is spent seeking peace, health, and prosperity. But can material offerings really achieve these goals?
有人看人伫咧食鱼，或者是食肉，唔是用鼎煮的尔呢，伊呢用烘的安尼呢，插着呢，带迄个火炉的内底互周围的火安尼来烘烘了后呢，油带直然后呢，才安尼一块来甲伊拆实咯。你想，这甲地甲差偌济呢？只是讲遐个动物 伫咧受即种的人间地狱的辛苦。
More recently, diseases which are fatal to animals have been passed to humans as well. To prevent the spread of African swine flu, Taiwan's borders have been on alert.
因为我们人类呢，贪口欲，多少动物啊，一天之间为了要满足人的口欲善念呐、要从爱护大地众生开始。 而且呢，爱护自己的健康。
Meanwhile, the pollution that is produced from burning joss paper is comparable to the carbon emission of a car.
Taiwan's combined joss paper burning is nearly 240,000 tons. Incense is near 3,000 tons. You can imagine the pollution it produces is equivalent to 20,000 cars' exhaust at once. This pollution is only for joss paper and incense. I'm not even talking about firecrackers yet.
Burning 1 metric ton of joss paper produces 123.8 kilograms of air pollution and also over 1 metric ton of CO2. The total emission equals to the amount of 65,000 vehicles would make if it ran at speeds of 50 kilometers per hour for 1 kilometer.
When PM 2.5 is breathed into the body, it can cause inflammation, which can increase the chances of cancer, for instance, lung cancer.
Not only is burning polluting the environment, the production process of the joss paper isn't good either. If knowing piety can be achieved with a sincere heart, our actions must also advance with the thought.
In the auspicious month, Tzu Chi Foundation has promoted vegetarian diets and given respect to elderly since 2003. Let's take a look at how one Tzu Chi volunteer's former belief in the ghost month superstitions were broken thanks to the wisdom he learned from Dharma Master Cheng Yen.
Tzu Chi volunteer Tan Chun Bing once sought after good fortune via prayers and offerings.
I was afraid of ghosts, so I'd leave some rice in the corner of each room. It helps to ease my anxiety as well as to help pray for fortunes. I feel as the 7th month was Ghost month. I don't dare leave the house at night. Also, I do more praying ritual too. I have offerings at home and then go to the temple to do the same. At night, I have offering rituals on the street and also burn joss paper.
It was when he heard a particular teaching by Dharma Master Cheng Yen that he finally woke up.
The master says if asking for favors from the deities can guarantee your good fortune, then there is no reason for karma to exist. Then she said, one needs to give to receive. It's these two trains of thoughts that totally shook me awake.
In 2003, Tzu Chi began promoting large-scale blessing ceremonies for the 7th lunar month in combination with local community ones to pray and abstain from meat. In 2016, 3 blessing ceremonies were held at the Liberty Square of the National Theater and Concert Hall in Taipei during the 7th lunar month. The following years, blessing ceremonies were held island-wide with Taiwanese operas and other sutra performances combined, helping to promote the right thinking and filial piety. In 2018, Tzu Chi Foundation performed a total of 28 blessing ceremonies in the 7th lunar month, and for the final ceremony in Kaohsiung, Tzu Chi volunteer Lu Ciyue, the choreographer of the Sutra of Profound Gratitude Towards Parents, made her debut performance.
They have experience in the sutra performance. By joining this musical performance, they are all excellent, especially Sister Ciyue and the drum team.
We have watched every performance, and we felt that the words of the show to be meaningful.
Boba tea is gaining in popularity in Malaysia. Even after 20 years in the country, it continues to draw long lines of people. New versions of this drink have led more and more companies to be involved, as many are local in Kuala Lumpur. Unfortunately, the drink also creates quite a lot of waste, as many are trying to find ways to coexist with it.
Malaysia's SS-15 courtyard is a place known for boba tea. More than 10 different Taiwanese shops operating there. This has led the area to become known as Boba Tea Street. Boba tea has become quite popular, with long lines forming for this drink outside most shops, sometimes lasting more than 2 hours. The popularity of this drink may be related to the internet.
This shop has a special flavor and taste that is different from others. Because of this, many people want to try it, leading to many people to come here.
With more drinks being sold, there's also more garbage, with many worried that consumers will haphazardly discard their waste. This can become a sanitation problem, as these drinks cause 3 distinct forms of garbage. The first is the plastic straw, and secondly the plastic lid, and third the actual cup itself. If these 10 shops sell 1,000 cups a day, then this can result in 30,000 pieces of plastic garbage every day. The NGO Ferris Wheel organization is concerned about the dangers of plastic waste and recommends alternative straws for people who buy these drinks.
Okay, since like this whole street is made of like boba and everything, so like basically the plastic straws will contribute, the plastic cups will contribute, and everything that's plastic will eventually contribute. So right now, our initiatives is basically use metal straw to reduce the impact of that to the nature.
For those that want to drink boba tea, we recommend bringing a reusable cup, and this can not only reduce the use of plastics, but can also cut down on garbage. The popularity of boba tea continues to cause an environmental problem, as many are seeking new ways to mitigate the problems of this popular drink.
Many young people also post pictures of boba tea on their social media. These images are now inspiring more and more people to have a sort of follow the crowd mentality, which may have hidden consequences.
Every day there's a long line for this boba tea drink in Malaysia. What is causing so many people to line up for this suddenly popular drink?
There's a lot of people waiting in line, and this made me curious. I just wanted to follow the crowd and join the line.
From group psychology, there is an explanation which says that if a crowd is doing something that this person isn't, then he will feel inadequate and fear being left out. This person will do things similar to the group so they can fit in. This type of mindset will have an impact on society as a whole.
High sugar drinks have become very popular with the public, but they might have an adverse effect on public health.
For these young adults, the amount of sugar that they need is a maximum of 30 to 40 grams. But in boba tea, it can be around 60 to 70 grams, which exceeds the daily allowance.
Nutritionists say that long-term usage of high sugar drinks can lead one to become fat, excessive aging, cardiovascular problems, and even endocrine disorders.
If you can avoid these types of drinks, we recommend a more natural substitute, such as fresh fruit or vegetable drinks. This can replace sugar drinks, as fruit and vegetable drinks can be a good substitute.
In addition to good nutrition, one should also undertake some exercise. Consumers should pay attention to their health and find the appropriate balance in their lives.
Tzu Chi volunteers hosted an event in Hualien Jinsahou for local elementary school students to show creativity with simple materials. Thank you for joining us today. Goodbye.